Great. Thank you so much, Terry. Today's Amazon topic is Amazon policy updates. We're going to talk about Amazon's current policies, changes to their incentivized review policy, and just some news about the holiday selling and FBA news and updates. So without further ado, I want to jump right into this. So this has been at the top of a lot of people's list recently. There's been a huge change from Amazon. They've changed their policy when it comes to what are called incentivized reviews. And here's what Amazon posted on their blog. This was a little over a week ago. Today, we've updated the community guidelines to prohibit incentivized reviews unless they are facilitated through the Amazon Vine program. And that's found at amazon.com/blog. So what exactly is an incentivized review? We did talk a little bit about this, about ways, this is a way that you can promote your product. But according to Amazon, an incentivized review is when a customer posts a review in exchange for a free or discounted product. And again, that's from that same blog post that we pulled that first quote from. So kind of diving into this a little bit more. The reason why this is such a big deal is because there's been a lot of focus on people disclosing their getting product for free or a discount in exchange for their reviews. And this is because and a big part of this is the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has new rules in place about disclosing this kind of information. So basically, the FTC requires that the incentivized reviews be disclosed. They say that you must use clear and unambiguous language and make sure the disclosure stands out. Customers should be able to notice the disclosure easily, and they should not have to look for it. And that's from ftc.gov on their website. So wasn't this addressed then? This whole issue with incentivized reviews. And you'll notice that if you look at a lot of Amazon reviews, they did start to require disclosure statements in all reviews that resulted from free or discounted products. But what happened is a lot of people, there's been a lot of backlash from the public as a result of it just got a lot of public attention. And there's been many videos and blog posts and a lot of information out there that has been criticizing this action that they took. And as a result, because Amazon wants to be the trusted marketplace, they, at least the way that we think that Amazon now feels that just having that disclosure alone is inadequate. There have been studies that have been done into this whole disclosure or incentivized reviews that say that incentivized reviews tend to lead to a half a star to a full star higher rating than non-incentivized reviews. So essentially, even though they are not supposed to be biased, and they even say in a lot of disclosures that they are not biased, there was still a kind of bias, and it was still in keeping with FTC's disclosure policies. But Amazon really did feel that justice disclosure is inadequate to maintain a trusted marketplace. At least that's the way that we're really interpreting this change.
So let's talk about this for a second, Tim.
Absolutely.
What were the ways that we could get incentivized reviews on a product? Because, and I guess before I ask you to answer that question, what is the importance of the reviews themselves, and how does that affect your ability to sell? So there's a lot of stuff out there. People think that is the only way to boost your positioning in, let's say, the Amazon rankings, which it is not. And secondly, they feel that there is no other way to get the reviews, and there certainly are other techniques to get them. So Tim and Blake, because you are so involved in all the things that we do with Amazon, I'm curious what your take is on how does it affect my ranking, and what are some of the different ways we were able to use incentivized reviews to boost the number of views on rankings?
Sure, Blake, you
I'll
want
jump
to
in.
start with it?
Yeah. Well, it feels like it was a double-edged sword. On one hand, if you were not a huge company or didn't have a huge bankroll to uh, essentially pay for top dollar advertising, offering products at a discount or for free at times could help you boost yourself in the rankings on a platform such as Amazon, which it is tough to compete in certain categories. And it was good for the small players. And on the other hand, for companies that had a huge bankroll and tons of funding to be able to give away massive amounts of products, they were able to generate thousands of reviews for their product and essentially dominate certain areas of Amazon, and again pushed out these smaller companies and sellers and inventors. And I think this change is going to help create a better community for purchasers because there's going to be much more true reviews and less bias towards the reviews. But it's still a little early to tell, in my opinion, and we'll see. I think it's a tough business out there on Amazon. It's quite competitive, but I think this is a positive change in the right direction.
I have to say this probably aggravates a lot of folks that are trying to sell on Amazon because they look at it as, oh my God, now how am I supposed to get reviews on my products? How am I supposed to get those products in front of the right people? Oh, how do I get in front of these other guys that have thousands of reviews on there when I have a similar but better product? And those things can be frustrating and it can seem like a daunting task. But one thing that we do tell people all the time is a properly optimized listing and getting your situation on Amazon in the completely optimized in the best way can really yield some great results without having a lot of reviews on your products. And there are a lot of unique ways where you can get into additional categories. You can offer FBA when other people don't have their products in FBA. You can bundle your product in unique ways and giftable ways. There's all sorts of things that you can do to rather than going straight up against the competition, take a look at some other ways that Amazon rewards sellers other than focusing on getting tons of reviews. Well, and a lot of people say, well, people make decisions on reviews, and you're absolutely right. We preach it all the time, whether it's to business owners that are trying to get more reviews on Google to up their reputation, to people like me, who when I shop for something, I'll sort by average customer review. But the key is average. And if there are 5,000 reviews on a particular product and there's another product in that category that has 5 reviews and the average on the 5 review item is 5 and the one that has 5,000 is 4.3, the one with 5 is going to come up first and when I sort by that average. And although it might not rank individually right away for the search term right at the beginning, if someone is a little bit more savvy and they're looking for the highest quality product based on reviews, and your product gets some really good authentic organic reviews, and they're all 5 stars, that's a great thing too. And and the other thing to keep in mind is these incentivized programs aren't the only way to proactively elicit reviews from your happy customers. You can also ask them, but you have to be careful about how. But that being said, I'd like to see if Terry, who does our sales, would like to comment on some of the different things that he's heard from our different customers that kind of focus on that aspect and some of the different things that he talks to them about.
Thank you, Paul. And it does come up all the time, and it seems like people are looking for this magic trick or magic secret that's going to make them a successful Amazon seller. And I do emphasize to them over and over that the quality of the listing, pictures, content, the title, those are the main things that get us the success that we have with our clients. And some seem to be disappointed because, as I said, they think there's some kind of magic behind the scenes, but they don't really understand what that listing needs to look and feel like to get the job done. We talk about compelling people to buy the product, great photos and lifestyle photos and all that kind of thing. There's a big focus on people that are either new to Amazon or aren't having the success they'd like to see on, what else can you do? What else can you do? Not understanding that really is the focus. And the example you gave on the quantity and quality of the reviews is a good example. I frequently tell people that we have clients that are doing tremendously well that don't have millions or thousands of reviews. They just have good reviews. So I think that's really the point that I love to drive home, because again, it seems some people are disappointed by this, but the key, we feel that one of the big keys to the success of an Amazon seller is the quality of that listing.
And
Great.
to that, one last thing I'll add is customer service. If you make a quality product with a quality listing and you have great customer service, your product most likely will sell if it is not competing against, again, millions of competitors. But if you go above and beyond for customer service, people seek that out. They're definitely one of the buckets of people who shop on Amazon, and they seek out a company or a product that provides quality customer service. So always keep that in mind.
Great. So Tim, unless you had any other comments on that particular slide and what we were talking about, let's see how this affects things, shall we?
Absolutely. All right. So what exactly does this affect? So in a nutshell, giveaways are still absolutely allowed. And asking customers for a review is absolutely still allowed. And here's where the change comes in. You can't ask a customer for a review in exchange for a product. That's the really crux of the matter, is that you just can't have the two tied together. So, okay, let's say there's still some sellers that think, well, maybe I'll still try to do it. What's the chances that me as a small seller or with a small product are really going to be caught doing this? What happens if I actually break the rules? This is directly from Amazon. Misconduct may also violate state and federal laws, including the Federal Trade Commission Act, and can lead to legal action and civil and criminal penalties. So I know that's a little extreme. I'd say that Amazon could, obviously remove your selling privileges. They may suspend the product that that has all these reviews on there. But this is basically Amazon saying, and this is a quote directly from Amazon that says, because of the way the FTC operates, if you don't disclose that you got a product for free in exchange for the review, there could be a lot of trouble. So, I think it's best just to steer clear of trying to weasel around this particular new policy, and just, use other methods to try and promote your product, which is what we're going to go into next.
So can Amazon suspend your whole account or just that product?
Any of the above. It's
Okay.
really Amazon's discretion as to what they really want to do. They, depending on the severity of the problem, it could be as little as just a little slap on the wrist to say, hey, you really shouldn't be doing this. This is a policy violation. We're going to remove those reviews that were resulting from incentivization, if that's even a word. But yeah, it's just, it could lead all the way up to account suspension and removal of selling privileges and anything in between. It's, I guess, how that Amazon performance agent is going to feel that day.
And Tim, I would just jump in that, it seems like a lot of people, when they do run into these kind of issues, maybe not related to this specific topic, but a suspension or that kind of thing, a lot of times they're not really given a lot of information on what they did. And that could be a whole new problem in itself. We get a lot of calls like that. So another incentive to not break the rules and do these kind of things might be the fact that if that happens, you may just get some kind of a really just, I don't know, very simple, you're suspended or you're this, and without a lot of information, which makes, a real uphill climb to figure out what's wrong, how to fix it, and how to get things straightened out. So don't do this. This is, I guess, the bottom one.
Yeah, we've had first-hand experience dealing with customers who have been suspended, and it's not an easy process to get reinstated. That's for sure.
Right. And when you do get suspended, especially if it's the entire account, they lock up all your inventory. They lock up all your funds. It can take weeks, if not months sometimes, to get the problem resolved. And ain't nobody got time for that.
I'd also like to chime in. Oh, go ahead, Robin.
Well, I was just going to ask, how does this affect websites like Snagshout and those review websites?
So, specifically Snagshout, they actually, and I wish I could pull up the email right now that had this information in there, but Snagshout right now is basically changing their entire business model. No longer, they were previously basically charging $5 per person that snagged a deal, and they more or less changed it now so that you basically pay for a subscription. I believe it starts at about $40 a month to get one campaign running at a time with unlimited people grabbing it, and kind of goes up from there depending on how many concurrent campaigns you want to run at the same time. So there's been a lot of uproar, and we're gonna actually kind of I think I don't have much more on that right now, but yeah, everyone's business model is changing. People who ran review programs or review clubs and everything else, and they're trying to really market it as you can still do giveaways, you can still have your product available through this platform and give them away at a discount or free. You just can't, and you can ask them if they can leave a review, but you can't tie it to saying that they have to leave a review in order to get the product for free. It's that the two kind of link together, which is the big no-no.
It's interesting. Just hopping onto their blog right now is taking a look at how they have on October 4th. The Incentivized Product Reviews banned. They have a blog on that, and they also have a webinar that played on the 5th, and you can watch the replay there on living in a post-incentivized review world. So that might be interesting for some folks to take a look at as well. But moving on to the next slide, Tim, we have to talk about what are our current options now. And there's one on here that I wanted to mention that we can do through contacting our customers directly through Amazon if you have a Seller Central account. So if you wouldn't mind, jump right into the next slide.
Absolutely, I will. All right. So, yeah, post-incentivized world. What are our options? As it was mentioned in the original quote, Amazon is saying that the only way that you can really do any kind of incentivized reviews anymore is through the Amazon Vine program. Right now, Amazon Vine is a vendor-only program, and it's Amazon's program to give away products for reviews. There have been rumors, and I think we're going to be talking a lot about rumors in this whole section here, and we did before. There are rumors that Amazon may expand the Amazon Vine program to Seller Central sellers as well, and not have it only available for Vendor Central. But my understanding is that it's very expensive to get into the Vine program. Usually, not only do you have to pay to be able to be part of the Vine program, but you also have to, front all the free products. So it can be a very expensive way to get into that to be able to continue to get those incentivized reviews. So aside from getting into the Vine program, you can still do pay-per-click advertising. I think that's going to kind of see a surge in popularity now. At least if you get sales, that helps with sales ranking, and again, you still get people looking at your products, and so using some of that money that you would have normally sunk into free giveaways and into snags and everything else, maybe putting that towards upping your budget or bid for your products might be a good way to get more attention onto your listing. And as I said before, you can still do product giveaways. By giving away products for free, it still does boost your sales rank. And it's still one of the best ways recommended by experts to be able to promote your product. And you just have to go into it with the understanding that doing product giveaways is going to be a lost leader, even more so without the guarantee that was in place before, or a certain level of guarantee that for each one you give away, you're going to get a review for it.
The reason the product giveaways boost your sales ranking is because product sale velocity is also part of the algorithm in terms of ranking. So that's one of the neat things that Snagshout was able to do, is not only allow you to get reviews on your product, but they also sold as part of their pitch that you want to budget enough to allow for the pace of your sale to increase when you're selling at a discount or giving it away for free, because that is part of the algorithm that is used to calculate where you show up in the search results. The other one that I wanted to mention on here is emailing your customers. You're able to email the customers. There's Snagshout's part of Seller Labs, and another one of their products is Feedback Genius. There's also Feedback 5, which is another one out there. Or you could just manually email your customers. You can't email them directly to their actual email address. It goes through Amazon's system. You have to make sure you follow their guidelines. However, you want to make sure that you don't cross over the gray line in terms of what you're saying. So one of the things that I talk about is the idea of saying that we always strive for 5-star reviews in our product. And then you kind of talk a little bit more. And then later on, would you please give us a review on the product? We would really appreciate it. So we're not saying, please give us a 5-star review. We're saying up here, we strive for 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, let us know so we can see if we can make your experience better or take care of your problems. And then maybe talk a little bit more, and then down at the bottom say, and would you please leave us a review on our product. So we're disconnecting the idea that we're asking for a 5-star review, which is a violation, from the idea that we're asking for a review. They are separated. In the world of SEO, we are always telling our clients to ask for 5-star reviews from their happy customers, but that is a big no-no in the Amazon world. So you can walk that gray line, but be very careful how you structure your language, so this way you don't get your account or get any sort of suspension.
And to that point, Amazon on their recent blog, because of this, have even pointed out that they are suing both sellers and professional reviewers and companies. So it's not something to mess with, and I'm pretty sure Amazon can afford quite a few high-profile lawyers. So I wouldn't mess around with this change. Just a fair warning.
Yeah, like we like to call it a floor of lawyers.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a few floors of lawyers, right? We'll have to ask Ted Limas on that. All right.
Right.
So what exactly is Amazon's review policy? And then we're going to move on to our next segment with a quick commercial in between. But Tim, please tell us what exactly is Amazon's review policy.
Yeah, we've thought that this is a really good opportunity to kind of review Amazon's entire policy, because I think a lot of people are not aware of some of the nuances and what they exactly can and cannot do. So we thought this was a great opportunity to go over that. So first of all, what makes you eligible to be able to post a review on Amazon? This has been changed recently. Amazon used to say that anybody could post a review on Amazon. They then upped it to say, they had to spend at least $5 on the Amazon platform using a credit or debit card, and they have now since increased that to $50. So it doesn't have to be for the product you're reviewing. It can just be basically anything on Amazon, but it can't be the $50. The $50 can't be from any kind of subscriptions and the discounts that you may have received. So let's say if you bought something that would have normally retailed at $50, but you got a discount for it for $35, that will only count part the way towards your $50 requirements. But once you have spent at least $50 at Amazon, then they allow you to post reviews. Even if you don't spend that $50, they do still allow anyone to post questions and responses to any listing. So you'll see in the page, there's a section where you can ask questions about a product and where you can respond to them. You can still do that without being eligible to leave reviews. You can also still update your profile, update your lists and registries, and still do everything else. So it's just really the reviews section of it that Amazon's focused on with this $50 eligibility requirements.
And these all pertain to the customer leaving a review on a product.
That's correct. That's correct.
All right, let's see what's allowed.
All right. So what's allowed is in your review, you can be energetic, enthusiastic, critical, favorable, relevant, helpful. They want these to be positive, but at the same time, they want you to kind of go into that whole critical thing. They don't necessarily want you to be overly positive. If there's a review that, this kind of goes back to the whole idea of fake sounding reviews. And this is something that we've kind of touched on in for quite a while now, is that there's a lot of people who feel like, if they're really, really happy with it, that they may be overly energetic about it. As you can see, Amazon doesn't really frown against that, but there comes a point that's really hard to define where a review may sound like they're just overly positive. So that's why Amazon does say specifically that all of these, that you can certainly do a review that's energetic, enthusiastic, etc. But anything that sounds fake is what Amazon will probably not want you to do.
And I'd like to comment on that. When we talk to business owners about how to ask for reviews for their business, we specifically tell them to tell a story about how that product or the service or their experience was, and that really removes that forced fake feeling that you kind of get out of over enthusiastic reviews, where it's all caps. This is the best thing I've ever had. It solved all my problems. It cured my cancer, and I lost 80 pounds. So, we want to. Maybe that was a little bit of storytelling, more fake storytelling. But the point is here, telling a story that's relevant, critical, and helpful to others is really what people value. That's why people look at the reviews. They go through there and they want to find out what are the pros and cons. And those types of reviews are going to be more helpful, and people vote on those as more helpful. And the more helpful ratings that a buyer gets, the more favorable their reviews are to Amazon, and they can actually get into certain programs like the Vine program because they're getting so many of their reviews being marked as helpful. But some other things that they can do, and Tim's going to get into those right now, which is a couple of new points here. So Tim, jump right into that.
Yeah. Amazon does encourage you to post and respond to questions. So we talked about before where you can certainly do that. So if you see those questions in the middle of the Amazon listing that are asking, does this work well with this? And manufacturer may respond, but other buyers of that product, or just anyone in general, if they are knowledgeable about that, they can absolutely respond to those questions as well. And one thing that's really interesting to note is that book authors and publishers may still continue to do giveaways in exchange for reviews. It's interesting that Amazon started as the online bookseller, and that's still the only one program. I believe the wording that they used was something like, that's been a very traditional thing to give pre-release copies. I forgot what they call them, but pre-release copies of books to reviewers so that they can read it and post about it before it becomes publicly available. So they say that's the only one category is books that can still do incentivized reviews.
Does that count for ebooks as well?
I believe so, since it's under the same category. But yes, it's anything related to books. All right. So great. We know all the great things that you can do with reviews. What are the not so great things? What's not allowed when it comes to reviews? This is just harping on the same thing over and over again. You can't post content in exchange for compensation, basically. So, if you're being paid to write a review, that's not good. If you are given a free product to write a review, that's not good. So Amazon just basically doubled down on this with the recent policy updates and just made it much more clear. And again, you can't get compensation for creating, modifying, or posting content. This includes telling a customer, let's say if they're unhappy with something and they leave a negative review, and you say to them, hey, I'll give you a discount or I'll give you a refund on that if you change your review or remove it. No, you can't do that. You can't compensate them for, you can't influence them in any way is really what it comes down to. The other thing is not allowed is you can't have relatives, friends, business associates, or I'm sorry, you can't write reviews for relatives, friends, business associates, or employers. So if your boss says, hey, we got this new product on Amazon, I want you to go ahead and write a review for that right now, please. And, Amazon says that you're not allowed to. So that's a difficult spot putting employees in that, but something that Amazon really wants to make sure. And a lot of friends want to support their other friends or business associates or family writing these reviews for it, but nope, can't do it. Amazon will sometimes just not allow the post to go up at all. Sometimes they'll let it go up and then take it down later. So yeah, that's also not allowed.
What if my friends legitimately bought the product, Tim, and they really like it and they wanted to, and they felt that they would do that anyway, even if I didn't ask them?
It's that gray line. I would avoid it. I would absolutely avoid it. It's just one of those things that you don't want to mess with Amazon's policy. Amazon's the big elephant in the room that you don't want to ignore. So
that goes through, and of course I ask that because we hear that sort of thing
Yeah.
from our clients, and that's where you don't want to risk. Yeah, say you do drastically improve your Amazon sales and you're making 50, 60,000 or millions a month on your Amazon account. And because you did one of these little things at some point in the past, and all of a sudden your whole account gets locked up and it just all stops. You don't want that to be something that results, because that kind of stuff happens all the time.
Very good point.
What's our next point there, Tim?
So competitor products, you cannot post a review on your competitors' products. Nor can you really talk bad about your competitors' products on your in your reviews, if for products that you're reviewing. So kind of goes both ways, and this is kind of I think did I skip this one?
While you're looking, Tim, I'll just jump in there and
Yeah.
say that that exact scenario had happened to us, and we were discussing it just yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Where we have a multitude of products on Amazon, and a competitor is clearly posting negative reviews on all of our products and promoting his product. So
Yeah.
we're going to be reporting this particular individual, and those reviews will be coming down. It takes patience and persistence to do that sort of thing, and that's something we're excellent at doing, is being patient and persistent to making sure the job gets done. But it was interesting because just prior to discovering that yesterday during our phone call, Tim, I was talking to a vendor I was buying something from, and I had commented to them that I saw a couple years ago they had negative reviews on their product, and that I was visiting the product just recently, and there were no negative reviews on there, and they had gone through the same sort of situation where a competitor of theirs was leaving bad reviews on their product, and they had petitioned Amazon and had them removed. So that is possible to do when those sorts of things happen, and I can't imagine Amazon's going to give you any good favor for if someone points that out, and you're the one who's leaving those bad reviews. I can't imagine they're going to do any favors for you either. So Tim, let's get back to your PowerPoint there.
Yep. And I found the part that I was missing, so it is in here. Customers in the same household may not post multiple reviews of the same product. So that means if you and your wife or husband and your kids or whoever else may be living in that same household, you can't post more than one review amongst yourselves on the same product, which I found kind of interesting. this is expanding on the part that I thought I was missing, but it is in here. You can't post ads or solicitations in reviews, so you can't say, "Hey, my product is great and does a better job at it," or something like that, and link to it. Amazon does, by the way, allow you to link to any place within Amazon itself, but you cannot post links outside of Amazon. So I thought that was also, I think it's just to other products, if I'm not mistaken. I think Blake put this note down, right? That you can only post URLs to other products on Amazon. Is that right?
Yeah, you're actually, for some, because I guess you keep people still purchasing stuff from Amazon, but yes, that is allowed. I guess it just, as long as it's not, you're not a competitor linking to something else, but yes, that is allowed verbatim from Amazon's website.
Yeah, and I could think a scenario where that happens is, say, this product is great, but I thought it was even better when I bought this accessory for it as well. I could see that being an example where you can link to a product that helps enhance the product that you're reviewing.
Right,
Something
and
like
Amazon
that.
has teams and algorithms set up to make sure you're not just a competitor trying to thwart people away from making a purchase there. So yes, there is cases where it is beneficial to the buyer and Amazon makes another sale. So it is allowed.
All right. This is a big one. You are now allowed to post any libelous that's easy for me to say, defamatory, harassing, threatening, or inflammatory language. So those are all the things that you need to make sure you steer clear of. You can't invade anyone's privacy. So you can't say, "Oh, the person who sells this lives on this street at this address. Here's their phone number. Here's their email." Can't really post that kind of information, and any kind of content that really invades any kind of privacy. You can't impersonate other people. Whether that's people, I'm sorry, you can't impersonate other people or organizations. So you can't try to represent yourself as a company who's selling the product or a competing product. And lastly, you can't post reviews from multiple accounts or coordinate with other people to post more than one review on a particular product.
Well, it seems like they really cover the gambit there of all the different ways to get around the system, right, Tim?
No kidding.
All right. They've been around this block a few times. So I think that was a great review of reviews and what the policy is, some of the different ways to handle it. I wanted to recap here that there are still ways to get reviews on your products, but the game has changed. But the one thing that hasn't changed, and what we've always recommended before the incentivized review thing really became popular, is reaching out to your customers and really being on top of delivering great customer service, checking in with them to make sure that they are happy with their product, and in the process, mention that it will help your business if they leave a review, if they feel so inclined, and that is just a great way to really help boost the number of reviews that you're going to get. However, that's something you need to do carefully, and that's something that you should probably be talking to us about so we can make sure you get that done right.